Hello all, welcome or welcome back to the channel to review Wrexham Away. So I've been to the Knighthead fan park this evening for the watch along party, and as ever I made some notes during the game. So let's begin pre-match. I want to touch upon Chris Davis's press conference yesterday. So there was one bit in there in particular where he used the word deluded about anyone who thinks we're going to walk this division. I think that's a very strong word to have used, whether it was aimed at fans, at media. I mean, a lot of the talk about going straight up to the Prem was from Knighthead and Wagner, so I just think that's a hell of a strong word to have used, and it was quite worrying to see him use language like that towards possibly the owners or the fans. We then got to the starting 11 tonight. So the two big questions I had going into it were, the three big questions were, does Allsop retain his place, or does his lack of form mean that he's dropped, to give him a bit of a kick up the arse to up his levels again? And he was dropped for Beadle. More on him in a bit. Right back concerned me, given that Laird's injured and Bright Samuel looked injured the other night. My choice would have been Newman there. I thought Newman could have done a job there. But he played Iwata there again like he did on Tuesday night, which was a bit confusing. Although after some research on the phone, I actually found out that Iwata has played 30 games at a professional level as a right back. So maybe that's why Chris Davis went with that decision. It makes you wonder though if Samstead is being mistreated really, because he can't seem to get a game. He lost his, you would have thought if there was someone out on the right that would have given him a start, or, he'd have certainly been next in line after Newman, but to have Iwata then slot in there and Newman potentially behind Iwata if he needed to come on, and Samstead not even in the conversation, you have to wonder if he's thinking, why on earth have I signed permanently here? I'm not getting a game. I'm not even getting off the bench. I didn't understand dropping Doyle for Leonard. I thought Doyle was exceptional the other night. Just don't understand that one at all. But that said, Leonard had a good solid game tonight. So, yeah. And then the only other question mark was over whether he was going to put Jay back up top as a 9 and slot a 10 in behind him in Lyndon Dykes, or whether he was going to start with Stano in the 10 again, and then it would then be, was it going to be Dykes or Kyogo? And I wasn't surprised that it was Dykes, because this is the sort of fixture that's got him written all over it. It's a physical fixture. It's a fixture that needs height. So I wasn't really surprised with that one. I did note that we were lining up in the same formation again, in the same tactic again. We're far too easy to scout and play against. We've got to start showing a bit of adaptability. Even Wrexham, who have been stubborn over the last couple of years in the Phil Parkinson way of playing football in this division, they've had a couple of different formations they've tried to suit better the opponent they're playing. And that would be my only critique of Chris Davis. He's not showing any adaptability in fixtures where it's maybe needed. Personally, I'd have lined up with a 3-5-2 tonight, but there you go. The other thing of note was just what I mentioned in the preview video yesterday, that Wrexham have they now have a very good side for this level. They've spent near on 40 million and they've got a brilliantly experienced championship side, and their lineup tonight looked strong. I thought we made a good lively start in the first 10 minutes. We looked like we were going out there with intent, albeit there were a couple of occasions where once again we were too hesitant getting shots away in dangerous positions outside the box. We instead kind of looked for the pass, sort of sideways passes and all that stuff. Like, there was one instance in particular, it kind of broke to Roberts, I think it was, and he had no one near him, and we were all just screaming shoot, because it just looked like he was in space and he could have got a shot away, and instead he went for a sideways pass. Then on the 12-minute mark, we conceded from another set piece. Another set piece we've conceded from. That's 6 goals we've conceded from set pieces so far this season. And also when the shot comes in on the goal, I noted that Leonard and Beadle were on the line, and Leonard wasn't actually that far from the ball, and I wonder why he's not sticking a foot out there to try and clear it. We need a set piece coach. I've said it time and time again. Jonathan Grounds is not a set piece coach. He's a coach who also covers that aspect of the game, and clearly at the minute he's not up to the levels we need him to be with the set pieces, because we're no good with them either end. And in a division like this, sometimes on tough away days, the difference can be if you've nicked one on a set piece or not. But I'm getting sick of that, making that same comment time and time again. I thought towards the end of the first half, we looked outnumbered in the middle, and the game was so condensed in the middle of the park, it was unreal. We were far too slow in attack again. Thought Beadle made some key saves to keep us in the game, but recently we've been making far too many defensive errors. And I thought that Gray in the first half and the second half till he went off just looks phenomenal in attack and defence down the left. He really can cover the whole left, and he does it brilliantly. 1 minute he's up there setting up an attack, and then they go on a counter, and before you know it, he's back in the defensive corner, tackling it and clearing it. Again, same old thing. Half time came, 75% possession we'd had, and we'd done nothing with it. And we looked knackered and exhausted at times in that first half. It was, something just didn't look right about the side. And at half time I was questioning, did we think that Chris Davis might have lost the dressing room and the lads aren't putting in the effort for him? I hope that's not the case, but it makes you wonder. Just to be clear on that point, as I did on X at half time when I put that, I'm all for, kind of easing expectations and saying to be patient with results, and we can't win every week. And, I believe if we're going to stick with Chris, we've got to give him till Christmas. And we can't be too rash, because we made that mistake last time we were at this level. It's not the results that are worrying me. What's worrying me is the level of performance in those results. As Blue Noses, we'll forgive a defeat if we see the lads grafting and putting the work in and trying. But that first half, and against Wednesday the other night, and Coventry last week, I just don't see enough of that true Birmingham City hard graft performance. I'm just not seeing it. Second half started and we made an instant reply to their goal. It was a great bit of attacking movement, and the ball to Roberts from Stano was unbelievable. It was weighted and timed just right, and it was a great finish from Roberts. After that, we looked a lot more dangerous, especially straight out the block from half time. Brought Keshi on, which is great. We've missed his pace and his creativity. I don't quite know why he came on for Gray, but I suppose that's more about the fact that where else can you accommodate Gray, therefore, without taking Stano off and sticking Gray in a 10. But I get the impression Davis is reluctant to try that angle. Again, I noted that Beadle's just been superb all night. I think he was my Blues man of the match in the end. Despite the fact I thought it should have been Doyle who started, Leonard had a solid game. Considering he's not played much football this year, I thought he came in and he did a job. And on that note, Iwata did a good job at right back as well. There was one incident in the first half where I thought he was out of position and he allowed the right winger to get a crossing because he was nowhere near him. But other than that, I don't think he did much wrong at right back, to be fair. And And then I questioned whether Doyle, I think he got round about the last 10 minutes. Why didn't he get the last half an hour? The other night against Wednesday, he was the best player on the pitch. I don't get why he didn't start tonight, and I don't get why he only got 10 minutes. And then when he did come on, Doyle, he came on for Stanner, which surprised me. I thought it might have been Leonard, given that he's not played much football. Maybe that was then the case that he wanted Doyle in the 10. Kyogo's goal, great finish, but yeah, he had straight offside, unfortunately. And I thought the late stages of the game, we were knocking on the door. We were giving it a real go, but we just couldn't get the job done. The other thing I noted was, I wonder what Newman's done wrong. Because at the minute, he can't get a game and he can't get off the bench. Has he fallen out with somebody? He was meant to be one of our big signings of the summer. And all of a sudden now, he can't even get a game off the bench. I kind of wonder what all that's about. I thought Kumas coming off the bench looked menacing. He does look very menacing in attack. If I had one critique, it would be that when you need that player on the right to track back and help out with the defensive aspect of the game, he just doesn't look willing to. He does so, but he just kind of half jogs back. He's not like dashing back like Gray does. Like Gray's so fast that when a move transitions and the other team go into an attack, before you know it, Gray's gone from being in the attacking byline to being back on the defensive byline. But Kumas, whenever he's come on, he just kind of half jogs. It's like he's not too bothered about doing the defensive side of the game. I thought we were much better in the second half. I think if we could play more often like we did in the second half, we won't be far wrong. And it's been the way so far this season, hasn't it, really? It seems to be that first half, we're just slow and sluggish, and then we don't really kind of get going till the second half. That just kind of seems to be the way at the moment. That's my thoughts on tonight's game. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Please make that comments. Let me know what you think of the channel, what you think of tonight's game, what you think needs to be worked on over the next 2 weeks of the international window. And hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, go tell a friend, and as always, keep right on up the Blues.